Brothers and sisters, generals, fellow spell breakers, current subscriber, new subscriber, anybody that view. One, salute you and thank you. And welcome to another edition of EBX Discussion. And Lord Lamont and I, we had a father and son discussion yesterday. And he just left here. He had to stay here the weekend, but I told him I had some things had to do. So, had to get up and get moving, and I know sometimes he might think I'm a little too strict, but it's how life get us. But it all comes from love, discipline, love at the end of the day. So we just got to know that. So salute to those who are standing firm and seeing above and beyond this here world and seeing into the core of oneself. And then, because when we know ourselves as brothers and sisters and warriors, we will know the world, person, place, thing, but in a strategic way, a teaching way, not a mean way or malice or undermining anything like that. We just stick to that divine spirit deep within, and we'll never go wrong. As many of us have. So salute to my family, children, divine children, biological children. Divine family, biological family. And when I say these things, I don't want to come off like I'm this perfect individual, but when we blaze through fires and things in life, and this is just in general, just certain things we can't tolerate. Our spirit won't let us. That's just how truth is. And we get to a point, and this for anybody, and this is an affirmation advice I've given in the past. And we say this to ourselves, we say, thou shall not be moved. That's a powerful affirmation when it's actually put into motion, and that's anything. And again, this is not a revengeful thing or hateful or nothing like that. It's just a strong, firm spirit within that controls our center, that psyche where all the battles are fought. So I always have good energy within, but having love deep within for oneself is definitely good, but we have to have tough love too in this life. And again, this is advice for all of us, say this to ourselves. We come into, sometimes things try to enter our spiritual righteous shield that we have set up, and we just say, thou shall not be moved. That's powerful. Now, of course, we've heard that in religions, and it's probably somewhere in the Bible, but again, we can pull some truths out of that Bible, and analyze it. As I heard a great brother say, we take the good, leave the bad. That's not mine. That's from another brother I learned from, actually, because a lot of us have, some of us have had some help along the way from other warriors that's on the same path. And we all go through our transformations and we make mistakes. And I can attest to that. I've made many, but can't keep making the same mistake. Can't keep repeating the same toxic thing, behavior, whatever it is that's hindering us, and expect a different result. And that's for me, brothers and sisters, anyone. But again, when we get underneath all the gunk we've carried in our soul, if we're healthy, mind, body, and soul, we get to that good part of us. It's beautiful, So again, say that from time to time. Any situation, stop, think, meditate, and/or deep prayer, and say to oneself, thou shalt not be moved. As we all say, as our greatest, deepest philosophers will say. Physically, say it together, folks, if we could all be saying it together. Spiritually, mentally, physically, thou shalt not be moved. We got to stop and ponder things. Even if we do feel a little bit of emotion rising up, that we use it, it becomes lessons, not anxiety or stress or thinking this way, thinking that way. But we have to train our brain to do these things. It takes practice. Again, observation, solitude. You always hear that come up, because that's when we definitely get into deep thought, creativity, right choices, even when it's not easy. But when it's coming from a real solid love within, could never go wrong. Again, some lessons have to be taught through tough love. Not that we want that, but depending on the situation, whether it's male, female, brother or sister, whoever we are on our walk, sometimes tough love do have to be implemented. And why is that? Because many of us that are standing up righteous and our teachers out here, whether we at a level of awareness or age, tough love helped a lot of us get us to the place we are in. Because again, when I go back to Great Divine and Mama Nature, as I always say, those are the two most powerful forces we'll ever experience. Now think about that Great Divine. People always pleasurizing God and all this stuff. Now, Divine has gave many of us tough situations and tough times that some of them we couldn't explain. Because again, Great Divine and Mama Nature is the most graceful, loving spirits, again, we will ever experience. But also will spank that ass. It will put things in our life, whether we pay attention to it or be in denial of it. This for me too now. I'm not just talking about, other people. I'm talking about me too, because I have to keep oneself right, because it wouldn't feel right if I was chaotic within and harboring wrong things and all that, and then speaking, it would come back to bite me in the ass. So been there, done that. So again, Great Divine ain't nothing to play with, especially when that force has a purpose for us. It needs us healthy, mind, body, and soul. That's no joke. That's more than just positive affirmations or saying, we have to be healthy. Again, this for me too. Areas of my life I have to sharpen and work on. It's wonderful being honest with oneself, even when it's not easy. When we get to that point, we feel any kind of stress or anxiety. Stop. Say to yourself, thou shall not be moved. Say it strong, say it firm, and mean it with conviction. That's another thing we learn in the level of awareness or age. We give a damn what person, place, thing thinks. And I'm talking about righteously, respectfully. We have to get to that space so we can get to the good creative part of our brain and things we may have dharma in our soul, because we all have been through some kind of struggle or maybe going through one. But thou shalt not be moved. Don't get discouraged. Wrong things in our system, things that are not good for our immune system, and keep forging forward and keep being the spell breakers we have been and we are, because Great Divine got to shape us up, make us be what that force has called us to be in order to take on a purpose or a challenge. So we can be ready. What? Say it together, folks. Mentally, physically, spiritually. Now, a lot of us say that. So that's not nothing I came up with or making. But it's true. We all say this, I know we hear go within, but it's a reason for that, deep, deep within and underneath all the gunk. Again, we have carried that we can carry for many, many years. And because, again, like I say, one's theory, and it's actually facts. Once you get past them 50s, that's when reality sets in. Again, you see where you've been and we see where we're going. So we got to work out all the little quirks and, the toxic quirks and wrong things that's in our body. Get them worked out. If we can't help ourselves, get help. Do something we trust, whether it's person, place, thing. But stay grounded, stay centered. If we're healthy, mind, body, and soul. And again, deflect anxiety as much as possible, because we can't think rationally in anger and being emotional. We get emotions. It's not about not getting emotion. It's about controlling them. Again, this is not nothing many of us haven't heard. I'm just coming from a different perspective. It's wonderful. And like I said, I love my family and children, but we all have to go through that tough love process sometimes. That's what make us better, stronger, more honest. Again, this for me too, because again, what I always say, we leaders and teachers with a student spirit. We ride along with one another. We ain't no damn follower. And we can even have that mentality, that follower mentality. Now, I'm not saying don't link up with family or brothers and sisters. Of course, we do that, when we can. But have our own lane. Don't be a follower mentally. I'm talking about symbolically. Be a leader in one's mind, because everyone in this world has something to bring to the table, whether it's smaller or bigger. So don't let something toxic before us stop us from seeing what's beyond. Like this banner here, the city. I haven't showed a virtual city video in a while, and but I enjoy the father and son discussions with Lord Lamont. Again, we have challenging times. Sometimes we might not. Well, we talk about it on father and son discussions too, but maybe sometimes off of social media. We might have a little challenge sometimes, But nonetheless, love, but every now and then it's got to be a little tough love, but love nonetheless, because I know greatness is in him, like T.I. said, I put it in there. I know we got it. It's just what he do with it is up to him, but sometimes I do have to kind of sit back and think about how I was when I was young. Sometimes it can be a challenge to get rid of, old ways and old habits and things we used to do. So I do take that into consideration. But if we are somewhat healthy, mind, body, and soul, and we do know better, we have to stop the cycle, because when we are around, I'm talking about an individual, because sometimes some people might not be aware of their old habits, because old habits die hard, as they say, as we all say, as we hear, so I do understand that. But when we are aware, when we don't choose to change, that's where the problem lies, because again, we've all had our little challenges and transformations, because everyone has to go through that filtering process, hands down. So I do hold that into consideration, because it took me a long, long time, and I'm still working on oneself. I'm better, but there's always room for improvement. So I do hold that into consideration for Lord Lamont. Probably things because again, I know he got greatness in him, but again, I do have to think when I was young, sometimes it's hard to get rid of old things and habits that we have carried for a little while. So, but he gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? He gonna be all right. Sometimes I think I might come off a little strict. That's just because that's how we get, because I'm hard on myself. So if I'm gonna be hard on myself, if I got a high standard for myself, of course I'm going to have high standards for others. And I'm talking about a righteous high standard, not think I'm better than nobody or nothing like that. Because one of my things I like to say, no one's better, just different. We go, everybody's on their own journey. And every now and then I have to remind myself of that. And it centers me, gets me back to reality, back to life, back to reality, And to do that, I call that assessment and resetting. So I do that. And it's wonderful to be able to do that. But it takes practice, channeling our emotions in the right direction and just stopping and thinking. It helps us so much. Keeps us healthy, too, and looking young. It keeps us looking young within and out, So, but I love my son, all my children. But it's going to be some tough love sometimes, just like I had to get tough love, like a lot of us have. Whether if it was through that great divine and Mama Nature, or as our parents or a warrior we may have come upon, because I've had like friends way back in the day I grew up with, because I was always the type to hang around, older, brothers and sisters. And I did run across some brothers that dropped them jewels that told me that was real with me, I didn't understand at the time, but I did later on. So, like I said, great divine be directing us. We don't even know it's directing us. We think things is bad and terrible. No, it has to shape us so it can get us ready for what's to come. Because what I always say, folks, we can't see the future, but if we're seekers of knowledge and we not harboring, hustling, and harboring, undermining things, and that's all gonna blind us. Those are all human things, not spiritual. So we'll miss out on what that great divine has for us if we, undermining and thinking wrong thoughts. We gotta fight that psyche, at all costs. I'm always rhyming. I swear I don't be meaning to, but we gotta fight those battles in that psyche. There is no if, ands, or buts. Been there, done that. That's where all the battles are fought. That's where the choices are made. Some very serious choices. Pivotal. Our pivotal choices are in that psyche. So become best friends with your soul and your psyche, brothers and sisters. That's the best advice one can give. So those were some things that was in one spirit. I do have two small summaries, just a little breakdown on thou shalt not be moved. And I did want to touch on let me see, emotional deflection, which ain't easy. That's why it's good to read, and explore things in our mind, body, and soul. It's beautiful. Reading can be fun to the mental, sharpens the eye, sharpens the mind, and it's good for what, folks? Our cognitive functions, and writing, all that stuff. It's good for that, it's good for the body. It's good righteous stimulation. because it's a lot of stimulation out here in this media and or social media. So as I said before, as Lord Lamont and myself said, better learn or know that art of navigation and regulation, mind, body, and soul. See, hear, and feel in that beautiful, wonderful psyche. Get to know your psyche. Again, better be best friends with your soul and your psyche. You know, if you really want to get to know yourself, that's how you'll see into others, by knowing ourselves. Because I remember I used to say, we can't begin to teach others if we don't know ourselves. You know, I'm talking about like knowing who we are and, you know, not putting up a persona and all that. You know, I mean, it's just a false foundation. It's going to fall anyway. It's a lot of evidence all around us, you know, so it's beautiful to be in that space. And when we're in a righteous space, as I always say, we'll know who the righteous teachers are, whether they're in our families, brother and sister, in the world, online, you know, and we'll know who our allies are, far and near. So I know who my allies are, and I'm an ally, and I hold no hate. You know, I hold lessons, love, some tough love, and but love nonetheless, you know, because that's something that keeps us whole, loving ourselves. Beautiful. It sounds so simple, but that's the key to viewing and seeing and observing the world, is that ultimate love for oneself. Not a fake love, not looking in the mirror saying love. No, I'm talking about a deep meditative love, deep in our core, man, that can't be tainted. And we say to ourselves, even when we're not around nobody, to ourselves, by ourselves, say, thou should not be moved for nothing, period. You know, the power, that great divine and mama nature, can't go wrong. All right, so I'm gonna get into this hip hop break, and I just wanted to show the view of the city, because I love this. I love nature and all that, but I like the beauty of the city too, especially at night. The city in Milwaukee, any city though, but you know, we know, those of us that have lived in cities or live in the city, how beautiful it can be at night. Because I remember when I was little, and I used to come to Milwaukee. I've been coming to Milwaukee my whole life, and I used to think Milwaukee was, well, it still is beautiful. But I remember being a kid, and I was like, man, Milwaukee's so big and beautiful, and all the lights and stuff. And I just thought it was such a big place. And but I mean, it is big, but you know, those that may have been living in Milwaukee for a long time, it's probably small to them. But when you conquer it, it seems small. But it's a big city. It's a lot of things to do here in Milltown. It's, man, a lot of celebs been here, and a lot of comedians. I think Cat Williams have been through here. Eddie Griffin. Who else? Cedric the Entertainer done been through here. Martin Lawrence. And I know they're celebs, not just because they're celebs. I just, you know, Milwaukee's the, you know, it's the spot. It's the spot, you know, and they've been having concerts since I was young, for years. So, you know, I remember Run DMC came through here, LL Cool J I'm talking about way back in the day, back in the Run DMC day. Run DMC, Houdini, they had a concert here years ago, and it was Run DMC, Houdini, who else was it? I think the Fat Boys came through here, Beastie Boys, back when Fresh Prince of Bel Air, back when Parents Just Don't Understand was popular. Let me see who else came through here. It was a lot of people. I think they were all in one show, way back in the day, you know. So yeah, I knew it was ordained for me to move to Milwaukee. I always knew I was gonna move here, and my mom's here, and my uncle and most of my family, they're here. My aunt Vera, she transitioned. May she rest in peace and in power. I had a cousin, Lori Lyrical. I always speak on rest in peace and in power. My grandparents, they transitioned. My grandma and granddad, rest in peace and in power. We had a friend of the family that transitioned also. So some people have transitioned since I've been up here, which was a shock, but I always keep them in my spirit. You know, I know sometimes when you kind of keep to yourself, and people might think you don't care, but old EBX cares, truly do care, as well as Lord Lamont. He cares too. You know, he just, sometimes he have challenges in him he might not be aware of sometimes. No one's perfect, you know, so he gonna be all right. And old dad got love for him always, you know. So I just show it in different ways. That's all, you know, but love nonetheless. But sometimes got to be a little tough love, you know, but love nonetheless, because he a general, you know. Lord Lamont has conquered a lot of things in his life. So a lot of things he's made it through. Some people, man, couldn't make it, real talk. And I'm not over exaggerating. I said that before, but for real. Yeah, but that's why I moved up here, to be closer to one's family. My mom, you know, have gotten a lot of wisdom from my mom and my Uncle Terry. Salute them, Uncle Charlie, all my aunties, cousins, Uncle Larry, all my family members. We all have been through our little struggles, but for the most part, we doing all right. Great Divine has put his hands over my family's life, and I'm thankful for that because that's where I come from. It's wonderful, it's beautiful to be in a firm, stable, divine place with that power of that Great Divine and Mama Nature, looking above and beyond, like the banner here, seeing the beauty in life, even seeing the beauty through our challenges. Man, it's wonderful, it's beautiful. So let's get to this hip hop break, and I'm gonna come back with a couple of summaries. And I didn't know how long this was gonna be, so it might not be that long. I think I'm gonna come back, read a couple summaries, and I'm gonna salute you divine warriors on to your divine life, brother, sister, family in the world, online, divine children. Yeah. So, and the two songs is a song I made about a friend that had passed away. His name was Trey. And another friend I'm gonna talk about, Les. A brother Les I grew up with. May he rest in peace and in power. And man, life is something else, man. It's like you grow up with these friends, with your friends and stuff, and you just, man, you never know. So that's why I don't take things for granted. That's why I really get upset when people do petty, stupid, dumb stuff, and it really ticks me off because I hold myself up to a high standard. I'm hard on myself. I really am. I might come off positive and stuff like that, but I get emotion. I feel things too, and I'm hard on myself. If I do happen to make a mistake or something like that, I beat myself. I punish my own self. You know what I'm saying? So I've always been able to do that and straighten myself out and get my ass back on this purpose, or our butts on this purpose, and do what we supposed to do. And I'm telling you, some beautiful, beautiful things will come about. It may come soon, may come later, but it will come. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when we stay righteous and whole in the pit of our soul. And we already know the flip side. When we're bad within, that will come too. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But let's stay away from the bad, toxic things, of this world, person, place, thing. I'm telling you, you'll love yourself, think yourself better. Spell breakers. It's all right. This first song is Rest in Heaven, Trey. And when I came upon this, my brother Clayton I spoke on before. It was in let me see. Matter of fact, in the podcast, I talked about that. It was Ultimate Peace. It was the first one though. So I'm gonna put that in the end screen, and I'm gonna put Blind Ignorance is Dangerous, because my sister Stacy, which was sister, she texted me that morning, last transition. Rest in peace and in power. His parents, I used to live with him when we were younger, like 15 years old. So I literally knew him my whole life, and as well as Stacy. And she was crying and everything. But again, I put Blind Ignorance in the end screen, and I'm gonna put Ultimate Peace in the end screen, because I talked about when I spoke to my brother Clayton, who knew Trey, and brother Brent. These are two brothers I grew up with. And he made a comment on a song I did on Facebook years ago. It was like a little video. It was a tribute to a Trey. Actually, it was a song to Trey, and it was called Rest in Heaven. And this is it right here. And when I came across that comment Clayton put on that song on Facebook, it literally made me cry and took me back, and made me very thankful. It was like I was sad and joyful at the same time. I feel so grateful, that we even wake up. Because I remember I used to say, if we alive and breathing, we back to conquer another day, another year, another decade. I remember I used to say that, man. You alive and breathing, that's enough. That let you know Great Divine loves you. If it woke you up, so. But those that just left us too early, may they rest in peace and in power. Male, female, brother or sister, family, far or near. All right, first song was Rest in Heaven. And the next one is It Takes Time in This Life. That's something I had to learn. Some I still learn sometimes, but we get better, right? There's always room for improvement. All right, so the first song is Rest in Heaven. And this song is kind of a tribute to members in my family that are no longer with us, and maybe other people's families who's listening, Just sit back and meditate on the good times. Keep them good times. Keep their spirit with us, They live on through us. All right, Rest in Heaven. Here we go.
Yeah. So it goes out to my boy Clayton, my boy Brent, They was the closest to Trey. That's why I made this song, you know what I'm saying? Rest in heaven, Trey. I bet you in a better place. Rest in heaven, Trey. Yeah, I'ma see you one day. Rest in heaven, Trey. Rest in heaven, Trey. I know you in a better place. You got to be in a better place. Rest in heaven, Trey. Yeah, I know you in a better place. You got to be in a better place. Rest in heaven, Trey. Guess what, my brother? Man, I'ma see you one day. Rest in heaven, Trey. You in a better place. You gon' be okay. Rest in heaven, Trey. Man, I'm sitting back thinking about the old days when I had no kids, no bills, and all I did was play. But this not about me, it's about my boy Trey. My heart just dropped when I heard he went away. Where brother you went from God, everybody says hey. And this has been in my heart, and Trey has been waiting. And ever since I made that phone call back to Clayton, I mean we talked for hours, a cool conversation, while we shared tears about your situation. It wasn't your time to go, man, there's so much frustration. You were took by another man's hands and we hated, but your soul lives on, never be outdated. And this is why I say I'ma talk to you one day. That's why I'm looking up and saying rest in heaven, Trey. Yeah, rest in heaven, Trey. I know you in a better place. You got to be in a better place. Rest in heaven, Trey. I'ma talk to you one day. Rest in heaven, Trey. One of my closest friends. Yeah, but his soul didn't end. He in heaven. A cool mother brother. Yeah, he drove the women wild. Man, he used to get them, yeah, with that smile. I'm teasing, I'm thinking about it, just makes me laugh. Yeah, what a funny sense of humor that he had. He always kept his money tight, and he drove nice whips. I still can't believe he was talking in these streets by the enemy. But I feel it in my bones, he's up with my G.O.D. Now he's got everything he needs. Rest in heaven, Trey. I bet you in a better place. Yeah. Rest in heaven, Trey. Yeah. I know you in a better place. You got to be in a better place. Rest in heaven, Trey. One of my closest friends. Yeah, but his soul didn't end. Rest in heaven, Trey. I bet you in a better place. I know you in a better place. So rest in heaven, Trey. Let's go out to my boy Brent, my boy Clayton. Yeah, we missed that brother dearly. It was really sad, you know. I heard what happened. So rest in heaven, Trey. I bet you in a better place. I know you in a better place. So rest in heaven, Trey. Yeah, I'ma talk to you one day. Yeah, everybody says hey. One love.
Real talk. I'm telling you, I cried when I came across that comment, man. Rest in heaven, Trey, and rest in peace and in power to all those we held dear, you know, they're no longer with us. Keep them in our spirit. And that video I'm gonna put in the end screen is called "Ultimate Peace is So Regal." So that's when I talked about I cried and all that. I kind of got a little deeper into it. And again, blind ignorance is dangerous. That would be in the end screen also. So that, again, those for those who are no longer with us, but they are with us, you know, not in body, but in spirit all day long. Spellbreakers. The next song is It Takes Time Sometimes. So be back after this. Spellbreakers.
Yeah, yeah. EBX, it takes time, yeah. We don't have to grind, yeah. I promise we'll be fine. Brothers and sisters, yeah. Whatever that we need, whatever we want up in this life, yeah. It takes time, yeah. A man will be fine. And yeah, I'm doing it too. Making sure I do what I gotta do to make it through. A good things in this life is what we choose. And in this life, of course, we don't wanna lose. and making sure a man that we see and in his life try best, man, to stay free. And watching our children and family, and in his life gotta be, man, the righteous peace. I never stop, man, to do this hip hop. I keep on doing this, man, my brain locked on smart things, cause that's what we are. I be good, don't care about being a star. I keep on pushing through, always got the good news. Yeah, inspiring things, making sure we never have the blues. I stay grounded, all up in the soul. Yeah, family, sisters, and bros. Woo! But it takes time.
Yeah.
And we don't have to cry.
No.
Brothers and sisters, I promise. Yeah. We'll be fine. I keep pushing, I like the soldier do. I never stop, I never get stuck to no glue. Toxic things and stay up in this life and making sure we sing good things and joy up in our soul. I stay up on the toes and on our go. Regions and teachings all in my brain and making sure that a general stay in our lane. Yeah, and never be distracted by the devil. You see it, that's why I do this. So while I'm on these beats and never stop. I love being the E. Try my best to make the whole world see. It takes time.
Yeah.
We don't have to grind.
We don't have to grind.
I promise we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Brothers and sisters, in this life, what we need, what we want.
Yeah.
It takes time. Yeah. And we don't have to grind. Yeah. Man, it takes time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I promise we'll be fine.
I promise we'll be fine.
We don't have to grind.
We don't
Brothers
have
and
to grind.
sisters, yeah. I let it come natural.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes time.
Sometimes it takes time. Wake up music. Real talk, yeah. It do, brother. Brothers and sisters. Takes time sometimes, you know. And but like I say, you know, the old saying goes, good things come to those who wait. Yeah, that's true, but you also got to kind of put things in action, you know, to get things to happen. We don't push, but we don't give up, as I like to say. But that's what the great divine and Mama Nature, that's what they ride off of. Energy, righteous energy, you know. Got to be consistent with that righteous energy, deep within, you know. And it's beautiful to be in that space. But again, it's unfortunate. Sometimes it can take a lifetime, you know. And but let's get into it. Let's get to these summaries. And again, like I say, I'm gonna salute you, divine warrior zone, to your divine life. You know, don't have to be half our life to do something great. And then again, don't let the ways and sways of this world, you know, make us jump out prematurely. You know, whatever that is, whatever gift. Remember, there's 1 trillion billion gifts the great divine has for us. All we got to do is reach within and pull it out and let that great divine let us shine, as well as Mama Nature. So, all right, leaders and teachers with a student spirit, let's get into it. 2 summaries. Then I'm salute you, divine warriors on to your divine life. Let's go. Thou shalt not be moved, often rendered as I shall not be moved, is a promise of spiritual stability derived from finding security in a great divine. Rather than external circumstances like I was just speaking on and working out challenges in life, maybe Lord Lamont and other things, you know. It signifies remaining, it signifies remaining, abiding in a great divine, true divine, you know, to produce spiritual fruit and withstand trials, you know, because we get them, you know, like I say. It's not about not getting emotions, but channeling them. That's a funny word for me. And, you know, and it's good to have balance. Again, it's good for our immune system because, again, look up stress. Stress has the same symptoms as a virus. So we got to have little stress, no stress at all. Thou, say it, and with conviction, shall not be moved, you know. All right, let's get into emotional deflection. Again, it's not about not getting emotions. It's about why we're getting emotions or desires or anything about our body. You know, pinpoint it. See what makes us tick. It's beautiful sometimes, but sometimes it can be a little challenging. But we got to go through those challenging things too. Can't get around that. You know, been there, done that. All right, let's go. Leaders and teachers, student spirit, let's go. Emotional deflection is a psychological defense mechanism where a person redirects uncomfortable conversations, blame, or criticism away from themselves to avoid feelings of guilt, shame, or anxiety. It is used to evade it is used to evade accountability, but we can't evade accountability at all. But these are people who are like not dealing with themselves. So this is part of that too. Because and depending on who we are, if we're a toxic person and we're deflecting emotions, that's different. And we're not trying to deal with accountability. I'm not talking about that. We have to deal with accountability with ourselves. Because again, great divine, Mama Nature will spank that ass. All right. Okay. This is for toxic people. It's used to evade accountability by changing the subject, making jokes, or turning the issue back onto the accuser. See, can't do shit like that. I'm talking about if one is toxic. But if you got a teacher or someone righteous that's deflecting, because sometimes, again, whether it's person, place, thing, can project their feelings on to a righteous person, whether it's male, female, brother, or sister. So that's all I'm saying. And many of us, those who are aware, we got a heightened awareness. We can tell, we can sense projection. But again, some people are aware, some people are not. We learn this. But again, if one is healthy, mind, body, and soul, and you're able to help yourself and you know what you're doing, then we have no excuses. Again, we're human. We make mistakes, but depending on what kind of mistake it is, we can do one itty bitty little thing sometimes, can F up our whole life. And then what? In our golden years, as I always say, spend all this energy trying to get back or fight back or get back to a centered place from all the negativity and chaos we carry out through our life, So that's just some things I had in one spirit. And again, an emotional deflection, again, is not about not dealing with accountability. I want to make that clear, because again, it's for me too. I'm learning too. I like learning. Learning is fun to the mental, brothers and sisters. So that's just some positive words one wanted to share. And as I always do, because again, I listen to teachers too. Sisters, I've been listening to some sisters here lately that really been impactful to a brother, because I think that's a good way to learn, especially as men. Listen, like I'm talking about a righteous sister that really knows herself and aware. It's good to listen to get a female perspective sometimes, So I don't shun, female speakers, because I listen to a lot of brothers, So I try to listen to the female aspect too, sisters, So that's good, It's good to take in views and jewels from different places. It can even be from a child. I learned things from Ethan and Lord Lamont. I learned things about myself through him too. We all learning, if we in a space to be receptive and learn, and don't got a lot of wrong things clogging up our mind, so that's why we meditate. That's why we get into deep prayer. And so we can continue on this purpose. Again, the great divine has called many of us to be on. It's called some of us to be on a purpose we don't even know it. Even if we don't have a platform, there are many kinds of purposes great divine has. It's not always got to be seen, because as I always say, that secret connection to that spiritual world, Mama Nature, and that great divine is the things that people don't see in secret. What we harbor inside that no one else sees, that's that connection, that great divine. But I'm talking about positive things, maybe things we do for people or in the community that no one sees. That's the most fulfilling and rewarding thing in the world, because it'll come to the light. But through what? That great divine and Mama Nature. And no devil in hell can stop a righteous brother or sister that's stable in their mind, body, and soul, or family, fellow spell breakers. So that's what we do in this life, and we continue on. Now we know there's going to be challenges, but again, if we have learned human nature ourselves, for the most part, we already know the devil is a punk, straight up coward. We learned this on this walk, so we got to do it. And we say it with conviction, brothers and sisters, family in the world online. Say this to yourself from time to time, whatever situation we coming into, and you say to yourself, thou shalt not be moved. Salute.